I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast, the spin-off podcast from the web series The Two Dicks. I'm Al Ducharme, Studio City, California. One of these guys here is Al Romas in Tampa, Florida. And today we have another special guest. Al, who is the special guest?
Well, today we're continuing with our run of chatty white guys. And this is one of my favorite comics. He and you just mentioned it off air. He's a podcasting pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
He literally came in with the covered wagon back in 2000, and I'm going to say 6. I'm probably wrong, but is it 6? God damn it. And I was there from day one, listening on my little iPod. It's the host of Never Not Funny, Jimmy Pardo.
Jimmy,
hello.
Hello, Els. Al, to your point, I remember you being one of the very first people that actually gave us a review on iTunes. You said, it's Pardo in your ears, duh, or something along those lines. And why wouldn't you want this? It's Pardo right in your ears. It was something similar to that, and it always meant a lot to me. So thanks for having me on your program.
Yeah, it was so such a new thing, and it was so cool. I didn't know podcasting, but I loved going on a plane or taking a car ride and hearing you and Matt and I think Mike Schmidt just bullshit around the old dining room table, for an hour, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
And that's before Never Not Funny.
I enjoyed that.
That's before Never Not Funny. It was called something.
No, that was
else?
that was Never Not Funny. That was
Okay.
the beginning of Never Not Funny.
It was always the same name. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the first year we were to Al's point, we were at my dining room table, and then we moved to a studio that we that we shared with somebody else, and then we now have our own studio. And one of us goes there. The rest of us have been at home for the past 15 months, year.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why do you suppose
Something's
that
going
is?
on, man. Something here in Los Angeles is show business. I don't want to bore you guys with it.
Fair enough. Well, we have a lot of things we want to talk about, and we like to jump ahead to see what you're doing right now and then come back and fill in between, and it will be all over the boards. But you're a pro. You're like lightning. You can handle all this, whatever's thrown at you. So what's going on right now? What's the latest thing that's happening right now with you?
In the world or
with
at
you?
my house?
With your house.
In the world of Jimmy Pardo.
Yes.
All right, my wife just did an online exercise class. I had my son give me a haircut, and I think he did a great job. I did the top and sides, and he did a nice blending in the back. He did a great. By the way, he's 1 year old, and I think he doesn't. You give him the clippers and just go. You have him go at it, and I think he did a great job. So that's what's happening in my world at the that's it.
I think Al meant comedically, professionally, but I don't know. I could.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's on me then.
Have you done any live performances in these parking lots and whatnot? Or
no, I haven't. I know you guys have gone out because there's no rules, whatever state you guys are in, and it's a hox to a lot of
Al's
people.
down the road from you.
I'm in Studio
Florida,
City,
which is.
Oh, you're not far from me. So have you done any?
I've done outdoor events. I have no indoor stuff at all.
I'm confused then because I see you guys on the same lineup on shows, and then it.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
I see.
Yeah.
All right.
We're milking
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Stay with it. I mean, it was a couple of years back. It's, he doesn't care.
Pre-pandemic.
I get it.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
All right. So you're doing the out, and I know Al's doing some indoors. And, you're doing some just in closets, right, Al? You don't care at all in Florida. You guys just
he
go
is
as close
banging
to each other.
chicks. He's unbelievable.
I'm going out. I'm doing it. If they let us do it, I'm doing it. Some clubs are 50% capacity. Some clubs are 100%. Just come on in. It's 80 here. So, but I've done them, and I'm vaccinated, and what can I say? I want to work and try to work, and I can't do the Zoom shows, Jim. I don't know how you are. I can't. They don't work for me. I can't sit down and just talk to the computer and see little heads muted. I can't do it.
It's been, I've managed to make it work, and again, I'm lucky that I have this podcast audience. Who are willing to come into my Zoom shows, and it's really, I found a way to do crowd work on Zoom where I just talk to somebody and then I let them request a story or a bit that they'd like to hear. And because I'm with you, man, like I watched a little bit, and I love this guy. I watched a little bit of Tom Papa's most recent one on Rush Ticks, and it's him doing stand-up, and I couldn't imagine anything worse than standing there and going, hey, thanks you guys, and then you hear I found a way to make it work for me. But but I've turned down every offer to, hey, want to come and do a set on this show? Right. It's like, good God, no. No.
I've done a few back and forth. I've done the sit down, chat, kind of like a doing stand up, but sitting down, but not it's a conversation. And the ones that I've done stand-up in, I just don't care for. But so be it. But
it's weird,
I've
right?
gotten better
I know
at
some
it.
people do it to work out their bits and stuff like that, but
Yeah, then you get the people who say, I'm good at it now. I kind of like it. It's like, what do you like? What do you like? You like sitting in your living room
I have
alone
said that. I have said
with a
that.
light?
This is a dig. This is a dig towards me.
Awful.
And
It's
I'm going to
awful.
say it's good for my head is what I'm trying to tell you.
No, it's not. It's terrible. Hey, Jim, speaking, you were just talking about your
I'm going to mute you.
doing the
You're
crowd
muted.
work. Doing the crowd work on the online show.
Yes.
I have a question about your stand-up.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
a big fan, obviously. I'd like to know, and I've never heard you discuss it, but when did the act, you're doing stand-up comedy, we all do an act. When did you make the switch to more crowd work? When did it become, I'm going to just basically do crowd work? How many years in? And was it organic, or was it like, fuck it, I got to do what I want to do, and that's crowd work?
Here's what it's a two-pronged Manalishi. It's
Good.
It's when I was an open micer, I did a lot of Richard Lewis-y style stream of consciousness, just talking off the top of my head, which also included some crowd work. So I was very improvisational and very with the crowd as an open micer. And then I got a booking, and I somehow got it in my head that I now have to, quote-unquote, take this seriously and do an act. So then I went to just kind of reciting my act to real tepid response, like none, for years. Like, people thought I was painfully unfunny. Like, I showed my wife a tape, and she's like, if I would have seen this, I would have thought you'd have no future in this business. That's how bad it was. And then it was actually New Year's Eve, the week of New Year's Eve, 92 into 93. I started in late 88 doing the open mics, and then I got my first paid gig in March of 89, and then I quit my day job in July of 89. And so but I was working, so people would always say, man, you're the funniest guy in the world. You're so fast. You're so quick. Nobody's faster than you. And then you don't do any of that on stage. And I would then go back to my hotel room and say, well, I'm making a living. What are they talking about? They're wrong. I'm making a living. So in 92, 93, Chris Alpine was his name. He was a comic out of the Seattle area. I was working with him and his wife, and he said, I don't know how he worded it, but he worded it in a way where he's like, why don't you just go up on stage and do this? Do what you're doing at the table here in Denny's. And I literally, this is no joke. New Year's Eve of 92 was the act, and then we had New Year's Day off, and then the 2nd of January 1993, I just went up on stage and started improvising and talking off the top of my head and working the crowd and finding bits that way. And I thank Chris Alpine for that. He's the one that, again, he said it in such a way that it was like, I get it. All right, do this. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah, you're like Pryor, fucking leaving Vegas and driving and becoming a new Pryor in Carlin, where he had that act and he grew his hair. It's like you have one of those moments where you just go, no, I know how to be funny, but I got to do it.
Yeah,
instead of just material that who cares.
Exactly. I was trying so hard to be Paul Reiser and Robert Klein, where it's like, yes, some of that's in me. They're both great comics, but that's not who I am. And thank God, again. And then I went through my angry Dennis Leary phase, where everything, I got 2 words for you. It's like, shut up.
You were smoking?
No, I was not.
Leather jacket? You had the leather jacket. Yeah.
I had, I just had.
I care for that.
I remember I asked once, he was coming to Chicago, and I asked the booker of Zanies, because he was also booking the Vic Theater, and I said, can I open up for Dennis Leary? He goes, nobody wants to see 2 of that. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Got it. Makes sense. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was, by the way, that was enough to shake that Dennis Leary-ish thing.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Larry Hicks, Dennis Leary, Bill Hicks, that sort of, and in my case, faux edgy, awful, just awful.
Right. Well, remember all the Hicks guys or wannabes that were there in
that
the 90s,
happens.
the clones and leather jackets. I mean, Leary was basically a wannabe Hicks who kind of made it. But
right.
The other ones didn't make it, and they were on the road, and they were just, just horrible. And,
well, you're influenced by somebody,
period of
so that's a natural way to go,
I think it is, too.
and to find your own voice.
And then it's a time, exactly, Al, it's a time then you find your own voice, and you shake that loose. Like, I remember one time my mom and stepdad came to see me, and her review was, I enjoyed seeing Richard Lewis. Like, that was her review. And I was mad for a minute, and then it was like, you know what? Maybe she's right. Maybe I'm being a little too Richard Lewis-y. But eventually you shake that loose and you become yourself.
Was that hard to work with other comics though? If you're emceeing or middling, doing crowd work, are they like a headliner? He doesn't want the middle act doing crowd work.
Oh,
He's
dude.
like, So what do you do? You become a headliner, or how do you do that as a feature act? Say,
that's
doing
kind
30?
of what happened. For a while, Al, admittedly, I was ignorant to it, and I would do crowd. Like I did it in front of what was his name? Tommy Sledge, the stand-up detective, and his entire crowd was being a 1920s detective, walking around the crowd, talking to the crowd and doing crowd work. With dummy me, burned out the audience in front of him. I would do 30 minutes of crowd work, and then this poor guy's got to walk around in a fedora and a trench coat.
I blame that on Booker, though. That's the booking.
I don't know if it. I hear you, Al. I talked to this.
Yeah,
Al
but
now.
at that point, Jimmy's just a middle act. Like, there's no thought from
exactly.
Booker.
I don't think there's any thought. I think it's hey, we got to play. Oh, sure. I hear good things about Pardo. I've got an open week.
Right.
I'll put him with Tommy.
Sure.
So
right.
But I got in my car driving home from Fresno going, that guy couldn't follow me. But it's like, because you ruined it for him. You ruined his week. So it took me a little while to figure that out, of how that was unfair of me. And I kind of figured it out right at the same time as they started headlining me. And then when guys would do crowd work in front of me, I acted as if I was the great sage and I knew all, and no crowd work in front of me. Because it's wrong, and it's not fair. Yeah. If you're doing crowd work in the middle, and you guys know this, if you're doing crowd work in the middle, you're setting that. If that guy does crowd work, you've just ruined the show for him. If that guy doesn't do crowd work, you've ruined the show for him because the audience wants that. Mm-hmm. So,
but I always got I do crowd work too, but I get angry at it's not dismissive, but you know what I mean. Like some people, if you don't do it really well, like where people go, you do it well. If your guy does crowd, they're like, what do you do, crowd work? You know what I mean? Like it's not comedy. You didn't write it.
Right.
Even though it's harder and better than a lot of written material. But, did you find that coming where people were going, Jimmy, come on, what are you doing, crowd work? Or was it immediately like, no, that's what you should be doing?
Well, you know what? I'm very lucky, Ellen, that people always put me in those. Nobody should be doing crowd work except for so and so, and Jimmy Pardo. So,
right.
I got that very early on. Like, well, no, that makes sense. This guy, because people saw my act. They're like, yes, of course, don't do your act. For the love of God, don't do your act. They were. They were literally
you still have one of my favorite lines ever, though, from your act. It's
which is.
Oh, I won the mirror from the.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's dropping the ball.
I panicked. I didn't expect her to pull this. Hold on.
Who's interviewing who?
Won my old lady a Def Leppard mirror. Am I,
yeah,
am I right? With the bear?
What's the premise?
He doesn't even.
Pulling the ducks out of the rusted gutter. What's my prize? Tetanus? That was one of the lines.
It was a carnival. You won your old lady was it a Def Leppard mirror?
It was Def Leppard. Yeah, it was a Def Leppard
that.
mirror.
That was like, I mean, really, what's a bigger piece of shit prize than a mirror that says Def Leppard with their logo?
Right?
Could it be any worse?
Leonard Skinnerd, so it could be somewhat worse.
Yes, yeah. I'll go Skinnerd over Leopard.
So
I will too. Actually, I don't know why I took Skinnerd down.
I don't know. I don't know. A plane did, but not you. That's.
So was it obviously a natural move for you to go into doing warm up for some of the big shows, the Tonight Show, and of course with Conan?
Well, I did it. I got hired to do it a couple times, and I wasn't good at it because I did it on a couple of shows that had paid audiences, and I just wasn't a good babysitter, and that's what those shows required. And then when I got the call to do it for the Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien, initially I said I don't want to do that, and luckily they talked me into it because I was there for 7 years. Thank God they talked me into it because it was the greatest gig in the world. But when it was at the Tonight Show, I still wasn't great at it. I think I almost went back to like what I was talking about being a stand-up, where I wasn't myself. I would kind of at first was doing an impression of a warm-up, and like, I've seen them. They walk through the audience. They do this, they do that, and then I eventually just planted myself at the monologue spot where Conan would do his monologue. I would plant myself there and do it from there, and then that's when it finally clicked. Oh, just do crowd work. Do what you do on stage, you idiot. You don't have to. Do an impression of a guy you saw warm up, Golden Girls. Do you? And then Jay Leno wanted his job back, and we all got fired. So I think it may have been my fault. I think
Well, that was the
second I
rumor,
figured it
and I
out-
said, let's get him on the podcast and hear the
Yeah,
true
we want to clear
story.
that up. We wanna
Yeah,
clear
I don't know if it's fact, but I want to say the second I figured out how to be a good warm up for the Tonight Show is when they said we gotta cut this show loose.
And when you would warm up and then Conan comes out, did you ever have to go back for anything, or are you done after?
No, that's the beauty.
Yeah,
the
you don't
other
go back
shows I had
on
done
for any-
prior to that, you'd have to do commercial breaks. Hey, you guys are doing great. Keep your
Right.
energy up. You're doing great. Fantastic. But with Conan, he took it from the Letterman, and I think Letterman got it from, I forget who Letterman learned it from. But just, my gig was, and it was the great, it expanded from 8 minutes to about 16 minutes because I enjoyed doing it, and they enjoyed having me do it. But at first it was 8 minutes of me. Then I introduced the band. The band plays 2 songs. Then there's like a second of stop down. Then the show starts. And then that's it, man. Then it just moves. And he had it down. And then so I never had to go back. I never had to go back out. And
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah,
they don't
'cause
need to see me.
it was, no, but you didn't. You've done it. They brought you in as to be you, not one of those clowns throwing
Yes.
candy and shit.
yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it also was one of those things like, what I love about it, and again, it goes back to Letterman and whoever else was, these people, they want to take a breath. Like they want to use the commercial break like they do at home. They want to take a breath. They want to go, hey, I'm having a good time. They want to talk to their friend. They don't
Right.
need to be stimulated the whole time. And then those shows that do that are just leave them alone. Give them a chance to just be real. And so thank God Conan did the same thing.
Oh, cool. Because I've seen some of the sitcom warm-up guys, and it's a whole different animal.
Oh,
and,
it is.
yeah.
And I actually have gone to a few of them, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get the warm-up job. And I see the guy do it. I'm like, nope, not for me. Because I probably couldn't do it. That's a long day. And some of them were fantastic at it.
They are. They're great at their job, and it's a different animal than what I was asked to do with Conan, and it's one like the woman that some big producer from the show Mom, the Allison Janney program. They saw me do it at Conan, and they were on the stage next door, and they came over and they called up my agent the very next day and said, "We want Jimmy to be our warm up. Here's what we're offering." The money was bananas money. And it was on a Friday. We weren't doing Fridays for Conan, and I still turned it down because I just couldn't. I couldn't be that guy. It's a different animal than what I was asked to do, and the last thing I wanted to do was show up and just not be me. Even though I'm making it would. God damn it! It would have been great money.
I would have done it for a couple of
That
months.
sounds like a mistake.
I would have done it for a couple of months
That
and got a
sounds like
Tesla.
I would have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible error on my part. I should have done that.
Hey, listen,
I
this
really
isn't
do
working
it.
out.
Well, you have
pull up in your Tesla.
You have. I was watching the other night. I have a question about that. Was you do a YouTube show?
Yes,
Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
that's right.
If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Jimmy's Records and Tapes. Good show. I don't know if you've covered it during those or not. I was watching thinking, what is the first concert you went to?
My very first concert was a Kiss with Judas Priest opening on the Dynasty tour.
Wow, that's heavy.
Kiss
heavy,
with Judas
heavy metal.
Priest.
Yeah.
What are we? What year would that be? What are we going there?
1979.
79.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember my older cousin saying, because he was old enough where Kiss was stupid, whereas I still was right in the pocket. And he's like, I guarantee you 2 years Judas Priest is bigger than Kiss. And we got in a fight, and then he was right. So
But who's bigger now? I mean, really, when
Kiss.
you think of it,
Kiss.
Kiss is bigger.
Yeah,
Kiss is in the
longevity
top
wise.
10 of all time, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like
I
the
know,
top 10 biggest bands. Whether you like the music or not, you can't deny
Right.
how huge they were.
No, I agree.
It was
I agree.
gimmicky,
And-
but they made it definitely a lasting impression on music.
Yeah.
And some of those songs have great pop hooks to them. I mean, they really have. If you picked Kiss's 15 best songs, those are great songs.
Beth,
Yes, they
I
have
hear
shit.
you calling.
That is not one of them.
No, that song sucks.
No, not even close. Not even to the top.
It's a comedy
100.
podcast. Hello.
That's awful. That was
Not
awful.
right now. We're talking serious music, Al.
God damn it. God damn it. It's Kiss.
Oh,
Disgusting.
damn. I want.
My,
can
my
I?
first,
go ahead.
My first
Jump
concert.
in.
I just
Yes.
want to throw it out there. First concert, White Snake, opening for Jethro Tull, Madison
God.
Square Garden, 1982. So yeah,
Wow.
and I didn't know anything. The old White Snake, not the, the poppy MTV bullshit.
Right, yeah.
This was heavy metal White Snake, but I didn't care about them. I had I had 3 albums. One of them was Jethro Tull, and we went to see him, and it was fantastic. It was, still a fan of Tull. I don't know if you guys. Jimmy probably.
You know
hates
how they
them,
got their
but,
name, right? They got their name. They kept going to these open mic showcase clubs, and they didn't want you to come back too soon, so they just changed their name. And the night they were discovered by a manager, They were told. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's a great story.
It could be a folk tale, but it's a good story.
I still love it.
My first concert, since I'm jumping in on this, 1979 as well. My friend was in college. Wham!
No, that was his.
No. It was Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I wouldn't have gone out and bought a ticket for that. But my friend, he was in college, and he came home. He says, "I got tickets for Earth, Wind, and Fire. We got to go." I'm like, "Okay." And we got high, and we went to go see it. It was amazing. It was amazing. They did magic. It was.
They're phenomenal. I've seen them several times.
Wow.
They're phenomenal.
See, you know. Look at Al. He's quiet. Al's quiet. Wham.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm not a concert-going Earth, Wind, and Fire guy, but of course they're great. They're great.
Al, I will just to answer your question, so that it's not a phone left off the hook. Andy Daly, the brilliantly funny Andy Daly, invited me to see Jethro Tull with him maybe 5 years ago. They were playing at the Pantages, and I could not go. And I've never seen them live. I like them very, very much. But I don't. I can name 3 songs, but I do enjoy them when they come on. I like Aqualung and Thick as a Brick.
Yes, Cross-Eyed Mary.
Right. Then she said she was a dancer. Those are all great.
Yeah. I think 5 years ago, I don't know if I would have wanted, because I in their heyday, you had to see him playing the flute, dancing, standing on one leg.
Right.
I don't know. He's about 80 now. He's probably not. I don't know if he's standing anymore, even on 2 legs, and right. I don't know the flute, so maybe he didn't miss much, but
I think he does it, but he uses a cane of some sort to just keep him propped up. I think that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to.
Still, one of my favorite songs out of all this whole entire conversation. Beth, I hear you call.
Jesus Christ! This conversation is over. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks for coming by. Thanks for swinging by.
Hey, here's what I'll say about 2 things to build on what. Number one, I saw Wham in concert in 1984, and it was terrific. Comedian Mark McCullum opened up and did well. The audience enjoyed him.
Do I know him? Who's he?
Yeah, Mark McCullum. Look. He did. His big bit was he did. The Wizard of Oz in 2 minutes or something, and he would do all the impressions and stuff, and he did very, very well in front of the Wham crowd.
Who was the guy who died a few years ago? He was kind of homeless, living in Vegas. Goddamn, he had that bit too, and he used to sell it to people, to comics for drug money.
Doug Ferrari, that guy?
No. God, he worked for Bob Kephart used him a lot, basically just to keep him alive. But he died at a little hotel, and Larry Charles from Seinfeld and Curb, he made a little movie about him, like a 30-minute movie. It's on YouTube, where he filmed him in like a shitty motel room because he was dying. He was going to commit suicide, and Larry knew him from 100 years ago. So I don't know if it's still out there. Someone told me they pulled it, but it was a wild little movie showing him living in just a seedy motel room. But his bit was the Wizard of Oz. It was that characters, and I heard he used to sell it to guys for drug money, and then the guy would think it's his, and then of course he would sell it to another guy and another guy and another guy. So this guy you saw open for Wham, it's possible that could have been whatever name bit. I can't pull the name of the guy.
I can't pull it, Al. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I can't.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good at pulling it, So
yeah, but he's an old dead guy. Fuck. I don't know.
Can I ask you this? I know you just tweeted about your wife getting a gig with Rainn Wilson on his new Alter Ego podcast. Is it a character?
Yeah, he's doing a character called Terry Carnation, and the podcast is called Dark Air with Terry. It's like an Art Bell sort of character, and it's almost like a behind the scenes of his life podcast. It's really funny. It's really, really funny.
That's
they got
great.
a lot of talented people involved.
So you guys both have nice gigs during the pandemic. That is awesome.
Yep. Very lucky.
Can I ask you about your famous father-in-law?
Sure.
What's it like? I don't know. He played. Of course, he's famous for playing Chekhov on the original Star Trek series, but he's working now. I mean, the guy's been working for 40 years, 50 years.
50, 60?
Yeah.
60
well,
years?
There you go. My information is old.
It, here's the thing. I'm not a Trekkie, so when I started dating Danielle, and people are like, that's Walter Koenig's daughter. I'm like, okay, somebody walk me through who Walter Koenig is. I didn't know.
All right, so that relationship is pretty good.
It was, when I met him, I was just meeting, another girlfriend's dad. But now that said, he's got his hands and feet at the Walk of Fame in Hollywood in front of the Chinese Theater. He's got a star on the Walk of Fame. So, that part is crazy when you think about how iconic he is with Star Trek. But I was actually more excited. He's since passed away, sadly. But her brother was Andrew Koenig, who played Boner on Growing Pains, and he was a great comedic actor. He walked away from sitcoms, but he was great. So when I met Andrew, it was like, holy shit, that's Boner. That was more exciting to me. But I'm not a Trekkie guy, so yeah.
Okay, no, I just thought it was kind of a cool fact.
Oh, it is. 100% think it is. I think it's 100% cool. But at this point, I've been with Danielle now for 22 years or whatever. To me, he's just he's just my father-in-law, who's a great grandfather, and so on and so forth.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Breaking news:
Whoa.
Adam Leslie.
Adam Leslie.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that was the comic. So yeah. So I wonder, this Mark McCollum, I wonder if he bought Adam Leslie's Wizard of Oz bit.
I can't answer that, and I won't answer it.
I want to. Is Mark McCollum still? Do we know? Does he perform?
I don't know. I worked with him several times over the years. I worked with him in Columbus, Ohio, and then again in Omaha, Nebraska. And we got along very well.
Isn't it weird how you can remember where you worked with a comic?
Crazy,
for no reason. There's no reason for that to go, oh, yeah, we worked together at Go Bananas. And you go, what the fuck? Why do I know that?
Right.
It's strange. But
Al, where did we meet first?
Thing.
Where did we meet first? And what color are my eyes?
You and I don't know. I don't know where we met, to be honest with you. Somewhere in New York City, you and Brian Fraser were running around, and I didn't like both of you. I thought you were, I thought you were just loud and
perfect chemistry for this podcast.
I know, because I was in the more observational, dumb spot, comic thing, quiet, and you guys were just kind of freaked me out because you were noisy on stage, and Brian Fraser walking up there, look at my wingspan, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't.
Okay.
This guy's.
Let's move on to Jimmy.
I don't know when.
Jimmy.
Here's the truth. Al, can I just jump in with this?
Go.
The first time I heard your name, Al Deshane, is you worked with the aforementioned Mike Schmidt at one point. And I forget where, but he came back saying that I worked with this guy, and he's hysterical. So
I remember the compliment. I don't remember the gig.
Maybe
he might be thinking of Robert Duchesne. That's probably.
Oh boy,
what it was.
You're
but that's cool. That's totally cool. You know what? We'll fix it in post. I've seen you. I saw you at Chris and Tess McGuire's Christmas party, but I also saw you at Alex Alexander's Pez show. And you
my God, you were. Was my wife performing, or was I?
You were.
Oh.
So you were great. You're just great, and it inspired me to go back another time and actually do it. And I didn't have.
Oh, you did it as well.
I didn't have quite the success that you did, but I was. I said I want to do this again, and then it disbanded. I don't know.
Yeah, she was one of the first people, Alex, to do the storyteller style shows that became a big thing here in LA right before the pandemic. But Alex was doing it prior to that, and it was. Boy, it was what a nice, welcoming environment. I believe that night I told the story about the first time I got to second base with a girl. I think that was the story that I told, and how the knack was playing, and how, if you look back, how weird it was that she was in high school and I was in 8th grade, and that's young for any of that nonsense to be happening. But yeah, that was the story I told.
Well, you were inspirational, and not saying, oh, if he can do that, I can do that. It was like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot, because you did it so well. So compliment, take it.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
When this all ends, Jim, the pandemic, when it's all done in a sense, will you look forward to going back on the road, doing some gigs, or are you kind of like, you know what, I like being home. This is okay. Some comics seem like they're done. They might not go back.
I don't know the answer. Obviously, I'll have to go back. It'll be, that. Yeah, I mean, you guys know it's comics. We have to do this. It's something we have to do. It's not like, yeah, I kind of enjoy doing this, and I'll go back. But I don't ever want to be the guy lugging luggage through the airport just to make a paycheck. I don't want to be that guy. I still want to be able to enjoy it.
You just described Al and I.
I'm going to be knocking on Mom's door next door to your Conan. Dun, 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 dun.
But
heard there's an opening.
No, because a lot of guys are like, I'm not going. I don't think I'll do it. Like I'll perform in town when I have to, but the idea of the going on the road, going to Davenport or whatever, that seems like at this point some guys are like, I'm not doing it again. I've learned I don't.
know.
Okay, Joe Yannetti.
I don't want to do it.
Okay, Joe Yannetti.
Yeah, I mean, there are Joe Yannetti. Wow, you can pull that, but
we don't know what's going to happen. We may have people that are out of it that might come back in. So who knows? There might be opportunity.
Look, we just assumed Seinfeld was done, and this dickhead comes back and takes gigs.
He should be done. He was at Gotham last night. He calls Gotham. He goes, "Can I be the first comic on stage?"
Was he?
And they're
really?
like, "Of course." So he's at Gotham. It's like, dude, come on. All these comics in New York City have been waiting a year. Jerry Seinfeld has to go up and
he loves that stage. He's a technician.
Fuck that. Fuck it.
Was he? Is he stealing somebody's $25 spot? What are you saying?
I don't think he has to be there the first night. I think whether just a city.
If it's going to inject the comedy scene, I don't see a problem with that.
I think people were going anyway without Seinfeld, and
all right, you're 100% right. Okay.
No, I just don't think he had to be there last night. That's all.
Okay.
Jim, your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. To me, I see it as a publicity stunt on his part.
Thank you.
I understand the club probably likes it because they also get the press out of it. So, but you know what? I don't know, Jerry.
No, I opened up the New York Post app today, and it's like the fourth little picture under, somebody's murdered in the world and pandemic, and then Seinfeld at Gotham last night.
All right, you both convinced me.
You had to be there. Fuck,
your arguments convinced me. He's an asshole.
I do think he has taken a spot away from a comic, a guy that's been itching to get back on. By the way, that needs to pay his bills, that needs to get on stage and work out his act so that when he goes back on the road, he's got some chops. So, what's Jerry prepping for?
I don't know.
Another gazillion? Come on.
That's right.
Okay.
We're all in agreement.
I see your arguments. Yep. I see them.
Yeah. But I don't know, Al. I obviously I'll have to go back, but the idea of getting up, because I started in the Midwest, so my agent to this day, T.J. Markwalter, he was an East Coast guy who now lives on. The gigs are all in the Midwest and out east. So in order for me to make those, I gotta get on a 4:00 in the morning flight, and it's that's just exhausting. So that part of it is not appealing. But I look here, come 22nd half of this year, I can see, well, geez, I gotta get out there.
Yeah, and what year when you were on the road? This is a question. I was talking to another comic recently. Just thought maybe it'd be interesting. What year were you when you were on the road traveling? Where you're a headliner, so you stay in a comedy condo, you stay wherever. What year were you? At what point where you were like, you know what, I can't do the condo anymore. I want a hotel. I want a nice hotel. I can't do that. I want, I want to be comfortable.
When should we say this? When should we say this?
When does that happen?
I do remember that I would always say, I would say to TJ, I don't care about a raise. Just get me in a hotel. That's all I care about. And so it must have been, maybe I was 10 years in, and I just had like 3 bad condo experiences in a row where I'm definitely allergic to animals, and like the week before somebody let their dog be part of the condo, and or the other guy smokes and I don't, and that's awful. So eventually I just was like, it's got to be maybe like 2000, maybe right around maybe 20 years ago. But it took a while. Yeah. And so I always love when they go, no, this one's a good condo. This one you're gonna like. This one's a really nice condo. It's like I know it's not. I know it's not a really nice condo.
Because it's the behavior of the last comic, and
right, 100%.
And that's probably not going to be a good thing. It's
and
John Fox
staff cleaning it or whatever they do, and it's awful. So.
Have they ever, in your case, whenever like when you show up at the club and the waitress will or the club staff person that comes up to you and they'll say, "I hear you won't stay in the condo," and I go, "Yeah, I just can't do it." And then they're like, "Well, I'm the one that cleans it." Okay, but I go, "It's not about you. I like I like my space. I like just being able to be in a hotel where I don't have to deal with other people. Like that's my downtime." But I do a real nice job cleaning it. Like they get offended.
They're giving you a stink eye for the rest of the week, and then they hand you your food here.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh, here's the guy that thinks he's too good to stay at the condo. Well, first of all, yes, I do.
Enjoy the mayo.
It has nothing to do with you tucking in a sheet. I don't want to be in there.
There was what was the guy in Lansing, Michigan? There was a club. And you
Frank
remember
Stevens?
Yeah, big fat guy, and he had an old house he stayed in, and it was dead of winter. It was ice cold. There was no heat in the place. The middle act, he's wrapped up in blankets when I get there at 4 p.m, and I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "There's no heat." So I go, "Well, we can't stay here. I'm not going to stay here." So I went and got a hotel, and then that night did the show and told Frank, I can't stay at the house. There's no heat. Will you, pay for a hotel? And he's like, "Well, why would I pay for a hotel? I'm giving you a condo."
But you're not.
And I go, "There's no heat." And he goes, "Yeah, I didn't hear he goes, I didn't hear him complain." The other guy. I go, yes, I know he didn't complain. He stayed, but I can't. It's ice cold in there. He's like, I'm giving you that. I'm not giving you a hotel and that.
Wow.
Yeah. So that
That's
was one of those where you just go, exactly. You go, you know what? I don't want to come back. Fuck it. I'll just do this week. And who cares?
Right.
Yeah. I've spent a majority of my pay on a hotel a couple of times just because of that.
Right.
Yeah. You have to. Especially if you're over
Or use points.
20-something years old, and
Well, that's the other thing too. Well, it's you get to be an adult. It's not you're not in a clubhouse anymore where it's fun. Like, this is fun. The 3 comics we stay up till 4 a.m. doing bits and blah blah blah, and then eventually you're just like, you know what? I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Right.
Did you guys ever work that gig? I will never remember the name of it, but it's in Painesville, Ohio, where you stay in the house behind the club. And there's a family living downstairs, and you stay upstairs, but you have to use the shower downstairs.
No.
It is comedian Tony Boswell wrote on the wall. They wanted you to sign the wall.
Oh my God.
And by the way, the club was great. The audiences were great, and the club was beautiful. It was like a theater. And Tony Boswell wrote on the wall, "Great club, great staff, and a place to stay." And it just nailed it perfectly because it was
But isn't that amazing? Like, I know comics always say it, like, no other business would anyone do this. Like no other traveling salesman, they don't put them up but it is weird. Like that club owner, it's a good club, it's good, but they think that this is acceptable. This is fine.
And it's not. That's the other thing. It's like, what would you stay here?
Right.
I remember saying that to some club owner. I go, "Would you stay here?" And they're like, "Well, I don't know if I would." But you guys are different. This is what you guys are like nomads. You guys are bouncing around. It's part of your lifestyle. But it's not. We don't want to.
No, it's not.
I mean, some guys might say it is, because they think it's cool to say that. But no, we don't want to live in filth. We want to be, treated like human beings. I'm not the Elephant Man.
I was in a situation where the condo was horrendous, and I went to the manager. I said, "Hey, the condo's horrendous. I already grabbed a hotel room." I go, "Just so you know, if you guys want to pay for it, that would be awesome." And they're like, "Well, we got the condo." And I go, "Look, there's roaches. There's ants in the bed. I videotaped it on my phone.
Holy
Here's the
shit.
ants." I go, "I'm out. I'm totally out." And I said, "I'm staying at what is it, La Quinta? La Quinta?
Yeah.
I'm staying down there." And then they come back and said, "Okay, the owner's going to take care of your hotel room. We apologize. We're going to get it all cleaned up for the next week."
Oh, wow. Great.
And then I find out he owns the hotel that I'm staying in, so it didn't cost him anything. He was doing me a favor.
Well, why wouldn't
there the whole time
stay in there?
I agree. It was a little further away. It was like an extra 3 miles, but
Who gives a shit? There was a condo. Speaking of roaches, there was a condo in Oklahoma at the old Jokers that was walking distance to the club. It was a nicely located condo, and George Campbell, who's a great comic, he now lives in Minneapolis, I believe, but he picks me up at the airport, brings me to the condo, and on the condo door is the notice from the exterminator that they just exterminated, so wait until 3 p.m. to go in for, so that you don't get poisoned. And then, so 3:01, we open the door, and I'm not kidding, the floor was just like the carpet. You thought it was carpet, and it wasn't. It was dead cockroaches. Like on the entire floor. And so George's like, "We got to go talk to the owner." And they're like, "Well, if you want to stay with George, you can. Otherwise, you'll stay at the condo." And it's like, what? They go, "Well, we exterminated." Like, it's fucking infested. You can't let people stay there. But they thought I was the asshole. Because then other comics, like weeks later, they go, "Hey, what kind of stink did you make at Joker's?" Like, stink? I wanted to be treated like a person.
and the guys that don't say anything because they want that gig, they want to come back.
That's
because
it.
they're snorting cocaine and banging waitresses. They'll put up with everything, and then we have to deal with it because nobody says anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And you nailed it, Al. It's all about I want to come back. They're all panicked that they're not going to get rebooked because they stood up for themselves.
Well, they're in fear. All these comics live in fear. I mean, everything. You know, it's all scared. If you say anything, you can't. Don't say my name. Don't do this. Right? It's like, well, all right. Why do you want to come back? I don't want to come back.
Don't say my name when somebody goes, oh, you know what? You should work, Johnny's. And they go, oh, will you put a name in? But give it a try, but don't use my name. But it's like, then why'd you bring it up?
Exactly.
Oh, it's a great room. It's a great room. Oh, yeah.
Johnny's. I want to go to Johnny's.
By the way, Johnny's is great, guys. But, Phil, I'm very serious. Do not use my name.
I wouldn't mind going.
Do not use my name.
All right.
Get on your own. Send him a tape.
Shit, I'll drop a tape in the mail tomorrow.
All right.
Johnny will love it. Johnny will love it.
We talked about what's next, but do you have anything? I mean, obviously your podcast is keeping you pretty busy. Never Not Funny. What is your next foreseeable live gig? Anything? End of summer?
You know, I don't know about live, but I am doing some other. I've been added to this online show that's now called Pop Cultured, where it's a pop culture game show, where I just judge and I make fun of comics and have fun. So that and we're doing that on once a month. I think the next one's April 10th. So I do that.
You're judging stand-up, or you're judging? What are you judging?
These comics do like these little challenges, like they answer, kind of
throwdown.
I'm not good at explaining this. Maybe I'm not the right guy to be.
I don't know if you're on the show or not.
Yeah, I'm out.
You don't seem to know much.
We have Schubert in the wings, by the way.
You're judging something.
We're getting all the Jimmys done.
We'll bring Burr in. Yeah.
Do me a favor, Al. Will you mention my name to Johnny? Because it seems like I got to work that club. It turns out, because I don't know what I'm doing with this pop culture at all.
I will mention your name to Johnny, no doubt about it.
For instance, on the last show, one of the challenges was using the stuff in your kitchen reenact a scene from a movie, and so the comics would use forks, knives, cucumbers, and reenact a thing in a movie, and then I would either compliment it or make fun of it. So. That's the sort of thing, and the truth is, it's just nothing but fun. It's just people enjoy it.
That sounds like it's right up my alley, Al. I'm surprised you didn't slam it and then say, Ducharme should do it. No,
sounds pretty good. Sounds nice.
My God, you're being. Oh, all right, fine. We have a guest.
Sounds good.
Okay,
sounds good.
He usually just shits all over me for something like that. Okay, cool.
No, it's
great
sounds
fun.
No, I mean meaning that I would find it to be fun and. Okay.
Yeah.
It is fun.
It sounds fun. I don't know what your problem is.
All right, I have problems. I have a lot of problems. So, Jimmy, tell us all the places we can find you. And again, you plugged a date there, April 10th. You'll be judging that.
Yes, and then I can't talk.
Fix it in post.
Hang on a second.
I threw you off. I threw him off, Al.
Now I'm panicked, like it's like Al with Def Leppard. I'm in a huge panic. April 16th.
It was your joke. I'm just trying to.
I know it was
your joke. I even got old lady. Buy my old lady, I wanted my old. Right, that was part of the funny there. Buy my old lady a Def Leppard mirror, and I don't know. I enjoyed it.
It was a great listen. It's a joke that I think the last time I did it was 1999 on Premium Blend.
All right.
So I can't remember it. I apologize. I do remember the concept, but I don't know the words that made it funny.
That's the last time I probably saw it. So
I know it was.
Although it might be on one of your recordings. I have.
It may be on a digital recordings.
Yes, I think it might be on. I don't know which one.
Wait,
Romus,
Romus, did you do Premium Blend?
No.
See, everybody did it except for me and you. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was the big credit. Remember, Premium Blend. That was,
of course.
That obviously gave you a nice little feather in your cap.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
I'm talking to Jimmy, our guest.
Oh, Jimmy Pardo. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was enjoying the two L's talking.
I'm saying it was a nice feather in your cap.
It was, I enjoyed it. I remember Nick Griffin was on another show, and I remember doing very well I could see the audience in the front was laughing like crazy, but I really wasn't hearing a lot of laughs. And so I remember coming off stage and saying to Al, "Did I carry the room at all? Did the people in the back enjoy me?" And he goes, "No." But I knew it. Like, I set myself up for that answer because I could tell, like, why are these people really laughing? But I'm only like, this room's got 1,500 people, but I'm literally hearing 50, but the 50 were into it.
Well, they sweeten that all. They sweeten it all in post, So.
Yeah, it looked all right. So if you ever find that clip from '99,
was that shot?
And here it is.
That was in New York City?
It was at New York, yeah, at a famous
theater?
African-American college, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where that is.
I
Okay.
don't know.
All right.
Here's the other thing that happened on that. As we were being brought from our hotel to the theater in a van, the guy who's driving the van put it in reverse and hit an old lady and knocked her down. And then Retta, the comedian Retta, and I said, dude, you got to stop. You just hit a person. And he's like, no, if I do, you guys won't get to the theater in time. And we're like, I think they'll understand. You just hit a person. And he's like, I can't go back. If you're not on time, I'm going to get fired. I'm like, you hit a fucking human being.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, so I've had, literally, I've had guilt since 1999 about this. That
she was okay. She was fine. She's fine.
I have to assume she's okay.
Yeah, she was fine. And you got your premium blend. I think I'm with the driver on this. She's fine. We got to deliver some comedy and give these people their premium blend. So
yeah, it was awful. It was awful hearing a human being, because it's a van. So you heard the echo of the back door hit like what was that? And, Anyway,
well, that's our
podcast. Go be funny.
I like it.
Flappers on April 16th is my next one of those.
Okay.
So I can go on. Shows. I can go on this show. I can buy it. I can go in, and then I can say, "Hey, Jimmy, do the Def Leppard mirror bit." Can I do that?
If you get chosen by the producer,
I get chosen.
I would then go, "Hey, Al, how are you?" Chit chat. Do you have a bit you'd like to hear? And then you go, "Yeah, tell about you going to the carnival." And then I go, "Ha ha, that's fun." And then I go, "Okay, let's see if I remember this." And then I muck it up, and everybody laughs at me mucking it up.
Oh,
sounds good, huh?
I don't think I'm doing that.
All right, Commander. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hang on a second. Did you just call me Commander?
I did.
I'm not going to lie to you. It may be my most favorite thing in the history of the world. The idea of calling somebody Commander is
it's a New England thing. I think it's a New England thing.
Very quickly. I know.
Well, you're the commander. You're the pioneer of the podcast. You inspire us. What
am about a commander?
You're the commander.
Jesus Christ! We're not going Nazi on this.
I don't know what to do. I'm on the fly here, man.
Real fast before we go, the hardest I ever laughed with my dad when we were in a hardware store, and this old man comes in and yells, "Where are the hammers, Chief?" And it was the funniest thing, because it was like, what a disrespectful way to talk to any human being. And we just got a kick out of it, my dad and I. So that Commander reminded me of that.
Okay. Al, do you have anything to add before we leave?
No, I was just thinking that made me think of who was the Boston. I'm always thinking of these bits. Who was the Boston comic who used to do the bit about going to the deli and how if you don't have a nickname, they'll assign you one. And so it's like, hey, what can I get you there, Chief?
Oh, Italian. Frank Salamita.
Frank Salamita. Okay. I'll take a ham sandwich. What else? What else, Governor?
Yeah, that's it. It's a New England thing.
Got a coffee, and okay, Chief. What else we got? It's like, and it's never enough. You always have to. There's always something else. You can't just ever buy a newspaper and a sandwich.
You got it, Doctor.
I don't know. Some chips, yeah.
All right,
all right, Commander.
Thanks, Jimmy.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Jim.
Patreon.com/The Two Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What?
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
No, really, don't mess with me, because I don't come down to the bus station and slap the dick out of your mouth when you're working, do I? Oh, get on up here, motherfucker.
Give me security.
I'm sorry, man. The guy fucking came at me. What do you think, folks?
No way.
Okay, show it.
All right. Subscribe.
Mary.
Patreon.com/The Two Dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.